Okay, so this is part 4. Ask me why I was fired. Now, when I got the job on January the 17th, 2012. And baby, that was my birthday gift because my birthday, January the 14th, same day as LL Cool J, Slick Rick, Carl Weathers, rest in peace, Jason Bateman, Evelyn Braxton, so you know Capricorns are the bomb. The next day is Dr. King's birthday. The 17th, the day I started my dream job. Now, and when I tell you I was excited, I was ecstatic. I was just like, you couldn't tell me, like, one thing, everybody got degrees but they don't work in their field. And like, I was writing reports for the judge, and I was, close to home, the commute, the family. I was closing on my house. I was really, really happy, even though things around me was happening as well. Life was lifing. I had my daughter in August of 2011. My grandmother passed away. My mother's mother, my maternal grandmother, died literally a week to the day from when my daughter was born. My daughter was born on a Tuesday. The next Tuesday, my mother's mother passed away. And that was a lot. In addition, that was in August. In January, I was about to close on a house before I got the job. But I wanted the job so much, I pushed the house back. Everybody was mad. They wanted to hurry up and close. But I pushed it because you had to see the 2 paychecks or whatever. So it didn't happen until February. But I wanted the job. Like, I'd rather have the job than the house. Like, I was like, this is the job for me. And I was just so excited, so ecstatic. And I'm kicking myself because I'm trying not to cry. The treatment of how black people was treated is just like, like, I was really, really happy. And the fact that they attempted to take that joy from me, and the fact that it's actually a nightmare, like, to the point where I was having panic attacks. It's just sad all the way around, especially when you have somebody who had good intentions, who's a good person, who has a good heart, and who really wanted the job. So when I started, I was excited. I was happy. And about probation, there are 3 different components. A lot of people don't know this. You have number one. Number one is the most common. You have supervision. If you are convicted of a crime, you are placed on probation for 1 to 5 years in the state of New Jersey. You cannot be placed on probation for more than 5 years. If you are, you have a prison sentence or anything like that. So if it's a 5-year term limit and you report to the probation officer, if you have to you have to bring in your job information to confirm. That's supervision. So that is a component of probation. You also have child support. Child support is a court order. When you're not paying your child support, you have a person who's a probation officer enforcing that. When you don't, they go to the judge and they file the paperwork and do that. That's also a component. You do have family court for juveniles where they do supervision and things like that. Some probation officers also do mediation and case management work. I didn't do that. I did the most exciting part, which I thought was the most exciting part. I did criminal case management. And in criminal case management, when you get arrested in the state of New Jersey within 24 hours, you have to have, well, this was when I first got the job. The bail reform changed now, but within 24 hours, you had to have a bail investigation, meaning usually Monday through Friday, it's a criminal investigator who performed that. But on the weekends, probation officers perform that duty. We go out to the jail, we investigate, we ask name, whatever, to get the information regarding your crime. And we got to call the judge to say, is this person released on bail or not? And that is done. And once you are processed, it's handled by case management. That's criminal case management in New Jersey. And I was a probation officer who did the report. In the state of New Jersey, before you're sentenced, a report is done on you, who you are as a person besides the charges. I was the probation officer responsible for conducting that investigation, completing that report, and giving it to the judge. If you are sent to probation, that report follows you to probation. If you are sent to prison, that reports follow you to the Department of Corrections. So that's what I did. And when I tell you I loved it, I loved it. And I only loved it because I thought I was helping. And that's what I want to be very, very clear. I don't want people to think like, oh, she loved it because she was throwing black folks. No, I loved it because I honestly thought that I was helping. And once I knew that not to be the case, I had an issue with that. But I honestly loved it. I had one person who they were trying to sentence him to prison for 3 years, and he had severe mental health issues. And based on my investigation, I wrote, I do not agree with the plea. This person should not go to prison, and they didn't send him to prison because he shouldn't have been in the prison anyway. It was a bogus case. You just wanted to send somebody to prison. I saw that. I advocated for that person, and I was satisfied with that because that's how it's supposed to be done. That's what they tell you in school. Be the change you want to see. If you see something wrong in the system, if you see somebody going to prison for something, you can be the, that's the bulls. They've been on me ever since I advocated for that person. But immediately when I got hired, immediately the nastiness, and I don't even want to say at first it was racial. People were just nasty and evil. Like, as soon as I got there, I was closing on my house. They had an issue with that. I was a black woman who had a husband who was closing on a house. The hot. They were hot. The fact that I was closing on the house. And the micromanaging, the being petty, the harassment started. And again, it wasn't nothing that I did. It was just me being treated a certain way because I was a black woman. And the not training me to do my job was big, was huge, because how can I be a probation officer? How can I be all like I want to be, like y'all tell people, and be the best at my job if you're not even training me to do my job? As a black woman, I had to go to people hired after me and ask them for help with me doing my job. And they would look at me and say, oh, that's because you're incompetent. How is it I'm incompetent? Because as a person who got there and you never told me this information, but you told the Caucasian people hired after me. That is not my problem. That is your problem. And this is the issue with this place that I worked at, the New Jersey Judiciary. I worked in Middlesex County. The issue was the fact that me as a person holding them accountable to the expectations that they're not doing their job. They wasn't used to that. They was used to them treating people the way they were treating me and nobody saying nothing. And I was like, no, you are supposed to train me to do my job. You're not training me. Me having to go to people hired after me, and I specifically asked you, emailed you, where do I get this information? How do I get this information? And you're just refusing to tell me how to do my job. That was the main thing. You're setting me up to fail. And then you're saying that I'm not doing my job, and you're putting it in paper. You are not doing your job. You cannot pass the probationary period, the performance evaluation, but you're not training me and you're not telling me how to do my job. That started immediately as I got there. Immediately. One big thing was the fact that when I was to write the reports, the person was to report to criminal case management and I write the reports. People wasn't showing up. So they wasn't showing up, and I'm calling them, chasing them, telling them you got to come in. They giving numbers, the number changed. They giving addresses. I'm writing letters. They're not coming to show up. So my report is late because I can't get it to the judge because a year. This is happening for a good 12, 13 months. I worked there 12 to 13 months before they told me that I could do the report and just put in the report that the person refused to show up. So why didn't you just tell me that? This was February of 2013. You finally told me do the report. So you had me do my job for a year and a month and not tell me that I didn't even need the people there. I could have just wrote in the report. But then they're telling me that I'm incompetent. How am I incompetent with this basic information that you're not telling me? And I held them accountable to that standard. And yeah, they didn't like it. And at this time, I had all the classes for my master's in public administration. So I understood organizational development. I understood how it should go or what they tell you in class. And me getting it in the organization is like, no, you black. You want us to tell you how to do your job? It was a real like, yeah, no. They had the wrong one.